Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about tarot interpretations and how to get started, kind of learning tarot for yourself and basically how to get started in learning how to interpret the cards. I've got two different schools of thought about card interpretation. The first, the one that I use right now, is just let your spirit tell you what the card means. But before I got to that point of just kind of listening to my intuition, listening to my gut, and letting that tell me what interpretation to give to the card, I spent an awful lot of time going through tarot books and just looking at the textbook definitions of what the creators of the card had in mind for the divination meanings when they created the deck. And I think there is a lot of value to that. And so when you're first learning how to interpret the cards, uh, go with a good tarot instruction book, preferably one that is geared towards the tarot deck that you're using. My first deck was the Rider-Waite tarot deck, and uh, I got this book with that deck, this book by author Edward Waite, The Pictorial Key to the Tarot, and that is the tarot deck that I got started with. That's the tarot book that I first started reading, and that informed me pretty much about the meaning of the cards as was intended by author Edward Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith. Now, another book that I love, and this one is geared towards the Thoth Tarot, but this one is by Milo DuQuette, who is a fun occultist to read. He presents his information in a very entertaining manner, and he's very knowledgeable. He's with the OTO, and he knows the background of the Golden Dawn. That was the organization that author Edward Waite founded or was with. I don't think he founded it, but he was with that organization. And he knows the original interpretations of the cards. He knows how Aleister Crowley later interpreted the cards, and when he created his deck, the meanings he had behind his artwork and uh, what he wanted his cards to portray. And if you're using, somebody else's deck, it is good to know what interpretations they intended when they designed that deck. And so if you're using the Thoth Tarot deck, this book by Milo DuQuette is extremely valuable. And I find even using the Rider-Waite deck, a lot of good insights can be gleaned from this book by Milo DuQuette. So definitely those two books are good for getting started. And then just sit down with your cards and let them speak to you. And what I've noticed with my own style of reading is in the beginning, I was going by the textbook interpretations of the cards. What author Edward Waite said the cards meant to him or should mean. And I was just trying to give my reading based upon those textbook interpretations. But as I got a little more experienced with the cards and a lot more comfortable with the cards, I found I could just sit down with the cards, look at it, and then let my intuition tell me, what does this card mean? Especially, what does this card mean in light of the question that I am trying to answer? And sometimes my interpretations will agree pretty strongly with author Edward Waite and Milo DuQuette and the Golden Dawn or the OTO. And then sometimes my interpretations will just go off in a completely different direction. And that is as it should be, because in my the way I do tarot reading or any form of divination, I bring in what I call the shamanic element to my reading, in which I don't just go by the textbook definitions. What I go by is what I feel Spirit is telling me. And yeah, divination for me is like similar to prophecy. You just listen to the Spirit within you, your own spirits, your spirit guides, your higher self, however you want to understand that, and listen to what they are telling you pertaining to the question at hand. And sometimes, that interpretation will agree with what you find in the various tarot cookbooks. And other times, that interpretation will vary greatly from the standard definition. And it's just a matter of becoming familiar with the cards and getting to that point, that level of comfort, where you can actually listen to what Spirit is trying to tell you and then interpret that for the reading and try to explain that to the person that you are reading for. I like to put it this way in my style of tarot reading. There should be three different voices at play. There should be the voice of the seeker, the person asking you the question. Then there should be the voice of Spirit, which is the supernatural element that I believe very strongly in, where you listen to either the spirits or the archetypes or however you understand it, and figure out what their message is that they want you to convey to the client. And then finally, there's your voice. There's the voice of the reader that is trying to make sense out of all this information and present it to your client in a way that the client can understand and use to improve his or her life. So that's what I call the shamanic approach to tarot reading. And that's what I use. But before you get there, you have to spend a lot of time in prayer, in meditation, a lot of time just getting comfortable with the cards, and yes, a lot of time using your various tarot cookbooks like the Pictorial Key to the Tarot or Lon Milo's book or any other book that speaks to you. So that's my take on how I do tarot readings and what brand of interpretation I use. A lot of times my interpretations will come pretty much out of the Golden Dawn cookbooks or Lon Milo DuQuette's OTO books. But what I try to do is just let Spirit speak and then just be the voice that tries to interpret what the world of Spirit has to say concerning the situation at hand. So, I hope you liked this video. If you found this video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe, become a regular subscriber to my channel, make sure that you also hit the notification button so you will be notified whenever I add fresh material. So until later, thanks for dropping by, and we'll catch you in the next video.